Hi everyone, welcome to my 12 Days of Christmas Watercolour Trees Challenge. We're on to day 4. Today we're going to do some Northern Lights and some classic fir trees with snow. So I've got a bit of Sawdust Waterford 5 by 7 inches, and I'm going to come in with a little bit of water. In fact, you can still tell, look, that I've been mixing up Christmas tree greens with this brush because intense blue tends to stay put. Luckily we're going to use intense blue in the sky, so it's fine. So I'm taking plenty of water on, and it enables you to see how much water I'm putting on. So you can see that I've got a nice even sheen, no puddles, a little bit of a slopey, snowy land just there. Okay, so I'm going to come in first of all with the intense blue. It can be intense blue, it can be Prussian blue, it can be Windsor blue. Any sort of a phthalo blue pigment will work. Could be a bit of indigo as well. In fact, I might even grab a bit of indigo because this will work quite nicely. We're going a little bit Northern Lights today. So I've done this little sweep of the blue. It's going a bit shooty, but that's fine. Let me just grab a little bit of indigo. I've got some indigo here because I think it will be a little bit darker. Just pop a little bit of that out as well. I'm using the colours neat. So we'll take a bit of this indigo in, nice and dark towards the top. Just got a bit of my hair in there as well, look. That'll come out at the end, unless I manage to lift it up with the brush. Look at that nice darkness. Oh, nearly. See, same challenges. We all have the same challenges. If it's not brush hairs, it's your own hair falling out. Can I get it? No, there we go, it's gone. So we'll sweep through. A little bit of indigo. I'm going to take a little bit of a yellow in. So it can be any yellow. It's just going to mix with the intense blue and make that little bit of green Northern Lights. You could use a little bit of Viridian if you wanted to. And then I've got a little bit of mauve. Rose would work as well. I'm going to take that through. So the trick with all of this is to make sure that the colours are consistent. I'm going in with neat colour every time and a little bit of water on the brush, so they're quite consistent, and it just means that you don't end up with the watermarks there. I'm going to just blend that through. So I'm getting a lovely Northern Lights sky happening now. If I swap down to a number 6, I'm going to take some of that intense blue, and this is a little bit of sepia, and what I want is a nice dark green, and this is a great way to make a green. You can use any sort of phthalo pigment with a little bit of a brown or a red. Burnt sienna works well as well. You can use that Viridian colour as well, that works nicely. And we're going to pop in a couple of distant trees. So I'm just doing little flicks. This is with my round number 6. Little flicks out, making that sort of triangle shape. Put one next to it. Odds always work. Two there, and then maybe I'll pop one right on this edge here. So those little flicks out, it's going to come off the edge of the page here, which is fine. So I've got 3 trees happening there. Okay, I want some white gouache. I'm going to take a little bit of snow in now. So there's lots of different ways you can do snow. You can do it with salt. You can do it with white gouache. So you could sprinkle a little bit of table salt on now if you didn't have white gouache. You can do it with water. So on day one we did it with water. So I'm just loading this round number 6 up. Then I'm just going to splatter. So what I want is some of this to be soft, and then I'm going to take some harder ones on later. So this is going to give a nice softness of snow. And I want to try to get a couple of snow splatters in each of these trees, which is easier said than done, but you try. That's working nicely. Okay, I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. What I'm going to do first of all is to come in and create a little bit of shadow. So I'm just checking this brush is nice and clean, because this is snow now, so I want this to stay nice and clean. Pop a little bit of water on the snow. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that tense blue, a little bit more water. I want to make sure, I'll get my little bit of tester paper to show you, that this is nice and light. It's still not light enough, so what I'm doing is adding more water. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do is create a little bit of shadow for each of these trees. You can see that. So nice soft shadow. We might actually sweep. I'm going to put another bigger tree in here, so we're going to pop a little bit of shadow here, which will seem strange at this point but will work later. Just before I dry that off, I'm going to get a little bit of tissue. This tissue's getting a bit worse for wear, so this is dry tissue, and I'm just going to dab these a little bit. So I don't want this to be too harsh. You see that? It just gives it a sense of undulating snow. I'm going to dry that one off. That's nicely dry. In fact, it works really well just as a picture like that. But I'm not going to stop there. We're going to put in a big tree, because we've not done a tree onto dry yet, a Christmas tree onto dry, or a fir tree. So this gives us an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to start really high. This is with my round number 6. And I'm going to bring a line down so I know where I'm going. Then I'm going to start to do little flicks out. This is with that same mix of green that I've used in the background, which is the intense blue and sepia, whatever variation of that you've got. You could just use any green. Can you see how I'm flicking out? I'm going to create these lovely little flicks. Round number 6 is a perfect size for this, because you're totally in control. And as you come further down, those little flicks are going to get thicker. They're going to get thicker and they're going to get wider. So it's not going to come down. It's going to come down. It's not going to come down straight. It's going to come down in a bit of a triangle shape. So you see that? See how they're getting wider, more fluid, wider again. Coming all the way down. And you've got to come down to this shadow. Like that. You see I've given it a bit of a jaggedy bottom. It's gradually got wider. and it's now sitting on that shadow. You can go a little bit higher. I like it when you get that little bit at the top, that little sort of spindly bit. So you can fiddle with it a little bit, but not too much. And then because we've got this lighter snow in the background that's nice and soft, I want a little bit of that on this tree as well. So you've got to make sure your brush is really clean, because the trouble with intense blue is it sticks in your brush. And I'm going to come back into that gouache, and whilst this is still wet, do that same splatter in. So I'm going to get a few little bits of starry snow in here. Okay, I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. You can come into a little bit of white gouache now. We can pop a little bit of snow onto the top edge of these branches. You see that? You don't have to hit every branch. You want less on the thinner branches. We're going to pop a little bit of snow on, and then you can just pop a few little bits in a flicky motion through the centre. Again, less towards the top. I'm just going to swap down to my rigger, just because I want a little bit of white here, and it's a bit too thick, the number 6, to do that. So I'm just going to dot a few little bits of white here. So it's got a really nice snowy effect now. Just fiddle a little bit to get a few little bits more of the white on with the rigger. So it'll just basically rest on the top of each of those branches and give that really nice effect. Take a little bit more towards the bottom, balances it, and rinse that off. Then I'm going to come back into that watered down shadow colour, just come underneath the tree. We've got this nice full tree here now, and that shadow is required, so it's like a double layer of shadow. You can just pop that way, just to give a bit more oomph, really. I'm just going to take a little bit of the sepia in, just at the very bottom. It's all about just grounding this tree. It just gives it a little bit more stability, having that little bit darker in there. And then that same bit of tissue I used earlier, I can just dab through, just to take some of that off. So I'll dry that one off. So that's nicely dry. I've got my trusty old toothbrush, and I'm coming in. I've dipped it into some water, dabbed it off a bit, and I'm coming into that little bit of gouache. I'm going to hold it close to the paper and pull my thumb up the brush, and that's going to give me these lovely snowy speckles, nice and fine, and a lovely snowy feel. Okay, I'll dry that one off. So there we go, that's day 4 finished. How pretty is that? It's looking lovely. So we have got 4 now, and my plan is to make these into a little sort of gift book at the end, which I'm going to show you. So I really hope you're enjoying the challenge. I'll be back for day 5. Please do like, subscribe and share. Hit the notification bell so you see the next one coming through, and I shall see you soon. Bye.